So for those of you guys that are just jumping on for the first time, you know, you're really just kind of getting on to get better and learn, feel free to share this with anyone in your office, in your business, on your teams. You know, there's people that are in our business, in the business that I do, and there's people that are not in the business that I do. I just invite people in general that want to be on, and you know, my whole goal is to change the world one leader at a time. I know I've have, you know, 18 to 20 years of experience being an entrepreneur, starting off when I was 22, 23 years old, and I've been through a lot of shit. And so, as I think we all have, and if there's something that I can say or something I can help with and help you guys get through, then, you know, to me, that's a huge positive for me. But really, this call is for you guys. And you know, again, I just want to add value to your life and add value to your day. So if you find value, all I can ask is if you can next week bring somebody with you. And then for those of you guys that don't know, I take these videos or these calls and I'm uploading them to my new YouTube page. I've got outside my comfort zone a little bit. It's called Clear Channel, K-L-E-A-R channel. My little plug, please go subscribe and share it again with your friends. And I see Daryl. Daryl, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Ken? How are you?
You are good looking. How's South Florida?
It's looking like let me see if I can show you. It's not too bad outside today.
It's like sunny and 75, I'm sure. Just like
Right?
it is here in just like it is in Michigan. I know you're from Michigan. Don't forget your roots. Don't forget your roots. All right, but good to see you, and thanks so much for the text yesterday. I really appreciate that. You know, I appreciate you having the awareness around things that when people look out for each other. It's interesting. One of the topics I have has to do with what you text me about. So, all right, guys. So today I'm going to talk about habits that will help you be successful in your day and your week. So one of the hardest realities of our life in business is that we are where we should be. We are where we should be, which at certain points of my life was awesome. And I felt great about it. But oftentimes, I felt like shit. Was not excited. And so just remember, you are where you should be. In order to grow to where you want to go, to your goals, to the life that you want to live, it starts with making daily decisions and changing your daily decisions. One of the things I heard somebody say to me recently was, I'm too busy to get up early. Like you're the only one fucking busy, as you're trying to say? Right? Like, I'm too busy to get up early. Like, come on, man. Like, look who you're talking to right now. So remember that everything you tell yourself on why you can't do something or why it won't work for you or why it isn't helping you, there's someone else that's making it happen and someone else that's doing it. So keep that in mind as we go through these habits. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, I'm going to talk about being prepared, being organized, being, you know, having a great attitude. That's not the stuff I'm talking about today. I'm going to talk about things that I feel in my career that are different than those kind of fundamental habits that have really paid off big time. So the first one is relationships. Relationships. So I read a book when I was young in my career called The 360-Degree Leader. It was a John Maxwell book. I actually met John Maxwell one time, if you guys know who that author is. I met him in Atlanta at a conference. But he talks in The 360-Degree Leader about understanding how important it is to build relationships with people above you in your workplace, people that are peers of yours in your workplace, and people that are you're mentoring in the workplace. And I'll tell you, as a coach and as a leader myself, when I think about relationships and I think about business, I literally ask myself, the first thing I ask myself when I either hire someone or I coach someone or I lead them, I ask them, do I like them? Like, do I like this human being? And there's not many people I don't like, but if someone's an a-hole and someone's rude and treats people unkindly, like, I don't want to be around people like that, right? And so as you start thinking through your relationships, especially in the workplace, the people, quote unquote, above you, your manager, your supervisor, your leader, whatever, it's so important that you build a relationship with them. And then not only that, it's so important to build relationships with people that are in the roles that you're in, right? You know, I had a conversation last night at, we do team nights on Monday nights at our office. And I had a conversation with a couple of guys about when I was young in my career in the business that I do. Michael, the guy that, you know, basically my coach and the guy who believed in me back when I was 22 to give me a shot at the business I do. He had me train in sales, basically everyone in the office, not just the people I was responsible for like 3 or 4 weeks. Before I got promoted to assistant management. And so I spent a lot of time training, developing, coaching people just because, you know, it was important for the business and it was important for the organization and the team that I worked in. And I had no financial investment or return on that investment, except for it was the right thing to do, to spend time with people that were not necessarily, quote unquote, on my team or people I was responsible for. And I remember asking Michael, I was like, and I wasn't asking because I didn't want to do it. I was seeking to understand. I was like, well, Michael, what in your mind, like, why am I working with all these people that I'm not necessarily responsible for? And he said, trust me, in business, no matter what business you're in, the more people that want to see you do well, the faster you're going to do well. So you have to learn to be selfless and give because it's the right thing to do. And I understood that in general, because again, that's just how I was raised. But I didn't understand the why when I was going through it. And I'll tell you, sure enough, I did what I did. And actually, I remember even, you know, our day would start about 8 a.m. because we did business to business sales back then. I would get in at 7, an hour early every week, and I set up a training for anyone who wanted the extra support in the office. And I just taught them more about the field, more product knowledge, more things, because at that point, there were certain products our clients wanted us to sell, and we weren't doing a very good job of it. So I thought to myself, well, if they want us to sell this, it's obviously important for business, important for our office to be great at it. So I'm going to get in early and just say every Wednesday at 7 a.m., there's extra training for whoever wants it. And sure enough, a lot of the new guys came in, a lot of the other people, a lot of other trainers came in. And that was just my way of paying it forward. But the interesting thing is a few weeks later, as I started to grow in the business and I started to have people I was responsible for and my quote unquote team was growing, I couldn't train everyone myself. So the people that I had trained previously, the previous 3 weeks, they were stepping up left and right to help me out. No, oh, Ken, I'll take care of this guy. You take care of that one. Like, in a collective team helped me get promoted to, you know, assistant management. So it's the old saying that it takes a village to raise a child, right? So there's a lot of different influences. So I encourage you to help people around you, no matter who it is. No matter if they're on your team, they're not on your team, in your office, not in your office. But again, the more people that want to see you do well, the faster you're going to do well. And, you know, my buddy Daryl in South Florida, he was texting me yesterday, and I think that's kind of what he texted me, something really nice gesture he sent about, you know, how I've helped him a little bit. And really, it's the stuff that he's done that's, you know, helped him do so well in the business that he's in. But, you know, I think sometimes when you go out of your way to just pay it forward with people, then they'll do the same. And again, it's just a good example. Like the way to live in this life, in my opinion, is to give. and to give to other people, no matter what you're going to get in return. And I've learned that the more you give, the more self-satisfying it is. But interesting enough, the more you get. Like, it's like it comes back tenfold. Karma is an amazing thing, and it works in your favor. Just kind of like I said a few weeks ago, the negative karma that people put in the world, they get a lot of shit, right? So just remember, relationships is huge. So that's number one. Number two is there is a very big difference between the right thing and the easy thing. Dare, I see you wanted to say something there. I see you're.
Yeah, I came up with me. I was just gonna ask you, have you always been that person, or was it a significant emotional event you went through that turned you into that individual? Like, did you go through something that turned you into that, or have you always been that humble, just investing person?
I think I've always been that way because that's how my mom was with us as kids. But I think I've realized as I've grown in my career that how important it is. Right? It was just something that naturally I always kind of did. I always helped out like my buddies and my soccer team. Like I'd always kind of think about other people a little bit. I don't know. My mom was always the one like picking up kids for soccer practice that they couldn't have a ride. So we would carpool to practice. You know what I mean? So I think I saw that a lot as a kid growing up as just that example from my mom and dad. They really just kind of went out of the way, especially my mom, because being an immigrant in this country, she had people that totally looked out for her when she was very young and single and didn't speak the language very well. And so I think like she felt indebted to kind of keep doing that. But I can tell you I've realized now later in my life how important it is, and frankly, how much it just helps me feel good about life and others. And I've learned that when I focus on other people and I kind of put myself second, it's just a lot more gratifying for me. But I think I'd like to answer your question is fundamentally I had some of the core values, but I think as I've grown up in business, I've realized that it's a multiplier in a way. And you'll notice that, right? You think about people that in our business that we're in, Daryl, like people that go out of the way and help and give, and it's like they get a lot in return at the same time, right? But they don't do it for what they get in return. They do it because it's the right thing to do. All right. So, and I appreciate you asking that question. So number two, there's the right thing versus the easy thing. So there's for those of you guys that have been at recent conferences, there is a public speaker that we brought in named Rory Vaden. He's actually a published author. He writes a book called Take the Stairs, and he talks about the take the stairs mindset. And it's very interesting. He talks about it. It's funny because I saw this at the conference. So we were in Vegas for this conference from what I remember. And, going around the conference center or whatever, going to our rooms and back to the little big room, the ballroom that we're in, there was escalators and then there was stairs, right? And majority of people would hop on the escalator and just stand there and just kind of go up the escalator. And then there's a few people that would take the stairs. And, and it's interesting because his message in his book, if a very good read, if you've never heard of it or want a good book, he talks about how, unfortunately, we're all naturally programmed to take shortcuts. We're just naturally programmed in our minds to take shortcuts. But really, the way to be successful is not taking the shortcut. It's actually doing the things we should be doing, even if we feel like we can't do it, right? So again, the analogy is just really simple. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you should get up and go to the gym, but you don't really want to, right? You don't really want to, Okay, give me a couple minutes, buddy. I'm on a call, okay? So when you, sorry, Mason has his Batman costume inside outed. So Dad's got to take a second to make sure it's good. All right, here you go, buddy. All right, good do you think? That was cool. All right. But we're naturally programmed to take the shortcut. right? And so when that alarm goes off, initial reaction in my mind, and again, I'm human. I'm like, it's already 5:45. Sweet. All right, let's go, right? But the concept is really simple. You're either going to pay now and play later, like the pain of discipline now, or you're going to have the pain of regret later. So you pay now, play later, or some people play now, they have a lot of fun, and then they're going to pay later in life, unfortunately, when they're working in their 60s and 70s. But either way, you're going to pay. And so Rory's message was, you know the right thing to do. It just matter if you do it or not, right? And I can tell you from my own experience, the right thing is never the easy thing. So I'll give you an example. If I'm responsible for someone in the business I'm in, the right thing is to maybe meet with them outside of work to support them, even though it's personally inconvenient. That I could get in the car and go places and do things. But it's the right thing to do to support them, to help them. It's not the easy thing because I may, have other things that I could be doing, right? So the right thing versus the easy thing. Another thing I'd be aware of when I think of the right thing and the easy thing is this whole world of entitlement that some people live in. I literally have sat across recruits in the last couple months and, listen, they go to some good schools. Some of them are Ivy League schools, some of them in the Big Ten, and they just feel like the world is owed to them. Oh, how much is my salary? Go fuck yourself. Go find your own salary. Go work for your dad's company, right? Maybe he'll pay you a salary. But, and I shouldn't have said that. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. But my point is that, like, listen, you're not entitled to anything in this world. What you're going to find out very quickly is that you're going to get your ass handed to you, right? And then, hey, let's see how you respond now. I had a friend yesterday ran a call for us in our business, and she talked about a sailor, and imagine you're at sea, and the sailor says, you know what? This is my first time sailing, and big storms are coming. You're like, oh, what? I don't want to be on this boat with you. I want to be on the boat where the sailor's been through some storms. And I want to be around the people that have weathered those storms, right? Not the ones that think that the world is owed to them. So the number two thing, the right thing versus the easy thing is start doing the things you don't want to do. Start doing the things you don't want to do. Remember that enjoying the process and doing those things you don't want to do, it isn't a prerequisite to achieving your goals. You're not supposed to enjoy the gym. You're not supposed to enjoy lifting and doing leg presses. I hated that stuff in college. Like, I literally crawled out of the gym sometimes. I fell asleep on the mats. There's one time I literally puked in the garbage 3 or 4 times because they pushed me so hard. It was awful. I wasn't meant to enjoy that part. But I enjoyed standing in front of the crowd on Friday night in front of 10,000 people with my parents in the crowd. And they knew with my jersey on that I was in the starting lineup. I enjoyed those moments, absolutely. And I remember looking in the crowd, seeing my mom crying, and she was so proud of me, right? So remember, you're not supposed to enjoy the process all the time. It's meant to be tough sometimes. So that's number 2. Number 3 is a humble swagger. A humble swagger. So what does it mean to have a humble swagger? It's actually kind of I think similar to what my buddy Daryl was talking about a minute ago. A humble swagger is that you're smart enough to know that you need to learn more to reach your goals, but you have confidence in where you are and who you are. So a humble swagger means, hey, listen, I'm going to take my notes. I'm going to be a student of the game. I'm going to be a student of those better than me. I'm going to be taking, actions to improve and make progress. But I have a lot of confidence in who I am and what I stand for. And understanding that, hey, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. Right? It's not going to happen like that. It's going to take time. So you have to be patient with the process. But you got to have your chest out. You got to stand tall, and you have to be confident in yourself. I'm not talking about cocky, but you have to be confident in who you are, but be humble about it. Be a student. Take notes. Right? Listen to those in a position you want to be in. And then think about how it can apply to you and your life and your opportunity. But number 3 is a humble swagger. Number 4 is pressure. Pressure. So I used to tell my my parents, so back in the day when I played soccer in high school and club ball, for you guys that know soccer, I used to take all the penalty kicks for my club team and for my high school team. And really for my club team was the one I did the most. I don't remember exactly how many penalty kicks I took, but over the course of 4 years, I would guess 50 to 70 or more, just depending on the games. I missed one penalty kick in 4 years. And it was in Cocoa Beach, Florida. I could tell you exactly where it was. Fuck. And I actually had 3 penalty kicks that game. I had one in regular time, one in overtime that I missed to win the game, and then one in the shootout that I made to win the game, which was funny. And it's the same goalkeeper for you guys that know soccer. Like I went up and I just skied it to the right. It was crazy. But I remember my mom and dad asked me, like, do you enjoy taking penalty kicks? And I was like, yeah, I love it. And I used to tell them that pressure is my middle name. I was like, I love it. That's how people, step up in big games. But when I think about business, and it's kind of a funny story, but I think the best things in life come from pressure. I mean, I think about the 3-carat diamond that I bought my wife when I asked her to marry me. Princess cut. I don't know, the 4 C's of carat diamonds. That's 3 guys in the call. You guys don't know. The ladies know what I'm talking about. Cut, clarity, something else. I forget.
Color.
It's been a long. Oh, okay. There you go. A couple of guys that are thinking about that world someday. Yeah. So when you think of diamonds, I mean, they're all, the reason they're so beautiful and the reason why they're so rare is because they're created under pressure. Right. And I also think about, like, again, health and people getting fit. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of strain on the muscle that forces growth in the muscle. And the same thing goes for the brain, right? So the brain is a muscle. It's proven that the brain, once grown, is not going to go back to its original state. So my point here, if you want to be successful and you want to have some of the habits of success, when you feel pressure, get excited about it. Know that this is like growing time, like stressful time, like hard time. That's good times in my eyes. That's like, hey, you're right on the brink of breakthrough, right? And so remember that pressure is a good thing. And I think oftentimes people avoid pressure, they avoid that challenge, and essentially they're avoiding growth, right? So remember that under pressure, and again, I had a conversation with somebody recently about this. And, I'm one that I kind of wear my heart on my shoulder. I'm very passionate. I'm very I'm very emotional. And I've had to learn how to handle it. But I used to think, like, you know, I told someone again this story 2 years ago. I remember in my business I was in, and it's interesting that Daryl's on today, but he came to visit me when my business wasn't in a very good spot. And I felt a lot of pressure. You know, I built this business of, 20, 30 offices, and my own local office was mediocre at best. I would actually probably say dog shit at best. We weren't doing well. And I had all this pressure. And I remember, having conversations with my coaches, and one of them said, Ken, think about this. Why is this happening to you? Like, what is the world? What is God trying to teach you right now? What is something that you are not doing, or who do you need to become to be the person that you need to be to grow whatever you want to grow in the business you have? And I realized, I think one of the things, again, I appreciate that time of pressure, because today, I think what that time taught me was the mental strength to not worry as much about things. To know that as long as I stay the course, things are going to get better. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of staying the course. Right? And I think that stuff 2 years ago, when my business was in a rough spot, speeded up a year later, we get this retail opportunity, speeded up a couple months later, we have a pandemic hit, all this stuff, again, pressure came on me again in our team. And I, with all that happening in the past, I didn't feel the same way, and I stayed the course, whatever. And now we have some pretty awesome opportunities in the business that we're in.